imagine smoking as a tribute to all of those Allied airmen who lost their lives during the bombing raids over enemy Europe in the Second World War. Right to them, you can now see the two Bouchons rolling down runway 21. They're going to get amazing. Well, P-47 chased by the Bouchons. Big wave to the Hurricane pilots as they taxi out, but in the Bouchons we have, in the lead we have John Romain flying the Hispano Bouchon belonging to the Aircraft Restoration Company. And chasing John is Dave Pulliston in yellow. Trevor said on the radio, they're tightening, so he's just easing back on the control column just to tighten the turn, a little bit more G as he presented the underside.
flying over the top of a beautiful loop being led by the yellow-nosed Corsair. That's a still the earlier Corsair with a 3-blade propeller. That's an aircraft owned by the Fighter Collection from Duxford, flown today by Brian Smith, one of our most experienced warbird pilots, a superb leader. All this formation flying is driven by the lead. Everyone thinks the hard job is the guys on the wing, but again, the gentleman from France. And it's a very jammy 777 because it's got the blue gap just where he needs it. So the aircraft was designed in 43-44 to actually take over from the Hellcat. And the problem in 1944 was the kamikaze-ing after 1945, so you can imagine a young 18-year-old ensign who'd just learned to fly on T-6s, given one of these to play with. But they were under training command until I think the early 50s, and in actual fact the very first air display team the US Navy put together, the Blue Angels, which are obviously famous now for their flying with their dark blue F-18s in the States. The first aircraft they used was it. As you see, those yellow undersides, they are the classic of the World War II years, that they were all the prototype aircraft under test were painted yellow, presumably so you can keep well clear of them in case they disassemble themselves in the air. You'll also see it has a yellow P painted on the side, that again says that the aircraft is a prototype. It's not appropriate to this airplane, so it was designed for, or built for the Iraqi Air Force, but so it's just more appropriate for our airshow visitors. Paul demonstrating in a derry turn there how fabulous the ailerons on this aircraft are. Most aircraft have conventional ailerons where you're of a certain age, my age, somewhat near the end of the beginning, featured is Ryman Reedman. Ryman's been flying with the Red Bull since 2000. He's actually their chief pilot and he's qualified. the second aircraft ran down the line, that's a Fokker D7, so it actually post-dates the triplane. The triplane was an experiment that worked for a short period of time, but unfortunately when you have
It's as close to the original spec as you could possibly get it without any plans, but as I'm sure you'll agree, truly magnificent. Really agile for such an old aircraft.
pulls the airplane up, the gyroscopic forces pulls the aircraft hard across to the right. And that's quite useful move in combat. If you're on someone, if someone's got you on your tail, they're not expecting the aircraft to go sideways, as Michael demonstrated. This is a completely different age of air combat. In by World War II, most air speeds in combat were above 200 knots, 250 knots. These aircraft were considered fast if they were doing 130 knots. They can turn very tightly, but that means that air combat was in a very, very small space. I think the combat pilots these days call it a knife fight in a phone box.
Absolutely, using in each of these probably two 7.92mm Spandau machine guns.
It was considered to be an age of chivalry in that if an aircraft was shot down. Interestingly, German pilots had parachutes. British pilots did not. It was considered to be a bit of poor form to have a means of escape.
Where the D7, the lower aircraft, as we look at it, so the weight of that, the max takeoff weight was 950 kilos, empty weight about 680 kilos with a 200 up to 200 horsepower engine. So compare that to the Gamebird, 635 kilos with a 315 horsepower engine. Just seems to show, or goes to show how much development there's been in the aircraft performance. But you can see now the way these are tightly turning, the entire display being kept right in front of us.
The dry deck, of course, was famously flown by the Red Baron von der Richthofen, the highest scorer in German ace, he scored 82 kills, and was actually shot down in the dry decker. Interestingly enough, when the D7 came along, most of his squad actually switched to the D7, they preferred it. But for whatever reason, Richthofen stayed with the dry decker right to the end of his career.
So these actually were driven from Sweden. Michael drove them from Sweden with his chief ground crew, and also wife Gunilla. So well done to them for driving all the way with a trailer with these two aircraft inside to show us here at Sywell today.
I think Michael actually arrived on Tuesday, but he didn't bother putting them together until Friday. He's so used to putting them together, it takes them half a day. So fabulous. Let's take a look at this there. So the aircraft was used for fighter reconnaissance earlier on a high back. Some fabulous flying there, but you've got to appreciate that the gentlemen at the back of the formation have got a much more difficult job than at the front. If anybody at the front of the formation so much as touch
it is very well choreographed, I can assure you. All leading now in 9 ships tail chase. We are just going to turn the microphones off, watch and listen to this incredible sight. Let's say. Notice 3 Spitfires have gone behind us, 4 Spitfires have gone behind us. The other 5 have turned downwind. They were notice that the aircraft on the left has the clip wings Mark was talking about. The aircraft's the wing coming down the other side. Lead aircraft is MH434, very famous, or one of the most famous Spitfire, I would suggest. Ray Hanna's Spitfire, as it's known. All flying that, leading the 2 Mark 5s. Beautiful smooth lead from Paul in the lead, and the white wing is Nick Smith, who's
lay there.
Royal Air Force Aerobatic Team, it's the Red Arrow!
White and blue. They arrive at approximately 450 miles per hour and they pull up, and you can really see that platform of the Diamond 9 as Reds 8 and 9 move themselves rearwards to convert into 9 Arrow. Reaching a height of approximately 5,500 to 6,000 feet at the top of that loop, with the aircraft slowed down to approximately 120 miles per hour. From Red 1 and Red 1 this year we've got a new team leader, that is squad leader in the middle of that right hand room. Yes, Red 4, that's Well, he's in his second year in the team. He was Red 4 last year and he remained as Red 4 and took up the position affectionately known as Uncle E. The aboard call is made by Red 9 as Red 8 and 9, red smoke for Red 8, blue smoke for Red 9, rolling around the formation as Red 1 bends the team around the left, changes the colour to fly the Tornado down the line. In that particular movie you'll see that the aircraft are flying with their air brakes out. Red 9 climbed up, changing his shape from blue into white into red. As Paddy's in his third and final year. But he's also a qualified flight instructor on the Hawk team at ready for the famous Synchro Heart. And coming in from the top right hand side is Red 8 as he spears the Heart. Red 8 is Flight Lieutenant Richard Walker, former Harrier pilot, former Typhoon pilot and qualified flying instructor on the Hawk Team Mark II. And Red Z, Flight Lieutenant Dustin Wells, like to dedicate today's Heart to his all after they cross. Go is a call from Red 6 as each aircraft now pull up. Reds 8 and 9 draw something wonderful in the sky to celebrate our diamond season. As Reds 8 and 9 complete their drawing in the sky of 60 to celebrate our 60 display season. Please put your hands together for the 2024 Royal Air Force Aerobatic Team. It's the Red Arrow!